Welcome to the Launch to Impact Leadership podcast. My name is Dr. Keena, a leadership development coach, author, and former nonprofit administrator. I teach emerging leaders how to master the skills needed to effectively engage their staff, strengthen teams, accelerate performance, and position themselves for long-term success. Welcome back. If you've been growing through these episodes, make sure you hit follow so you're always receiving strategies to strengthen your leadership and accelerate your success. I've said it to you before, and I'll say it again. The next generation of leaders will stand out due to their resilience, perseverance, emotional intelligence, ingenuity, and social influence. And this episode is all about ingenuity. Now, if your budget is tight and your timeline is tighter, ingenuity is what allows you to still deliver amidst challenging situations. Let me define ingenuity for you. It is the creative problem solving with what you have. Creative problem solving with the things you already have in your hands. It's being resourceful, it's being original, it's being useful. It's not random creativity, it is purpose-driven innovation. And a recent study tells us that about 60% of CEOs cited creativity as the most important leadership quality. That's versus integrity, global thinking, all sorts of other things that we may kind of conjure up when it comes to the skills that CEOs need to have. But this ingenuity skill or trait is so important because the conditions in which you are expected to produce keep changing. And with that, ingenuity is where you let your constraints inspire your creativity. Ingenuity is going to help you to solve problems without waiting for permission. Ingenuity is going to allow you to design better systems and not just focus on working harder, but working smarter. Ingenuity is going to allow you to turn your setbacks into strategic opportunities. And I always tell people when I'm coaching them, when I'm working with my clients, I say, listen, it is important for you to explain to your staff, explain to your team the why behind the decisions that you're making. Because in situations and circumstances where they need to make a pivot, the why is going to help the how and the what become so much clearer. So it's important that if you are going to be a person that models, a person that has the trait of ingenuity, that you're able to understand the why so that you can turn your setbacks into these strategic opportunities. Now, when a team member lacks ingenuity, they're not going to bring you solutions. They're instead bringing you constraints. And it looks like them saying, we can't do this because, or we don't have enough, or that won't work. All of the naysaying, right? If you're not careful, you're going to become, and maybe you already are, the department of answers. Your team is relying on you for every solution. They seem to not to be able to think of ideas and solutions on their own. They don't or won't experiment, and they're waiting for perfect instructions from you. Your job is to stop rescuing everyone and to start training them for resourcefulness. And here's one line that you can use to help build that muscle in them. Bring me two possibilities for the one problem. When they come to you with their situations, when they come to you with their chaos and their calamity, you say, okay, great, but bring me two possibilities for this one problem. It's not designed to overwhelm them. It's not designed to create fear or to trip them up. This is going to allow you to help build the habit of thinking beyond the first barrier. Hold that thought for a second. Take a moment and leave a quick review if you wouldn't mind. Your feedback not only supports the show, but it also helps other leaders discover these insights. But let me say this. This will only work when you have a culture of psychological safety. You literally have to give people permission to think and to take risk and to try. And sometimes that lack of ingenuity, or what we think is the lack of ingenuity, is really fear in disguise. It's fear of being punished for trying. It's fear of being punished for making mistakes. It's fear of being ostracized or made an example of. And it might even be because you as the leader, have the need to appear perfect in front of your team. And so they don't have any examples or models of the freedom to try. So you can also openly, turn these constraints into creative discussions by sitting with your team, sitting in a meeting saying, listen, given the time and the budget or the constraints that we do have, what's the best version that we can deliver? Oftentimes, when I am working with a team and I am visioning, I am forecasting, we are planning for something, I'll say, take all the limits off. Let's dream as big as we can dream. And we throw all the things up. We got chart paper, we got sticky notes, we got all the tools going, and people are just dreaming big and telling us what we want to see and what they want to hear and what they want to do and all the I wants. We get it all out. And then we say, okay, how can we get as close as possible to this dream? It gives people the opportunity to express their ingenuity. It gives people the opportunity to start big and then get closer to the reality in which we live, right? And what happens is it allows you to have a safe space for experimentation. You want to give people small tests, give them fast feedback, and make adjustments. Ingenuity is built through reps. It's a muscle that has to be built, and it's not going to be built in lectures. You have to actually get out there and try. And when your team members, or when you are even trying something, we have to reward the attempt. Because what you acknowledge is what is going to get accelerated. This is what helps to build problem solvers instead of permission seekers. You have to make sure that your team members are being acknowledged for their efforts. Now, if the next generation of leaders will stand out due to their resilience, perseverance, emotional intelligence, ingenuity, and social influence, it is critically important that we understand how these 5 traits work together. So when you have ingenuity and adaptability, this is what allows you to pivot and redesign your approach. When you have ingenuity coupled with resilience, it allows you to take the hit and still find the options to keep moving forward. When you couple ingenuity with perseverance, you are giving yourself permission to keep trying with intention and intelligence, but also knowing when to end those efforts. When you align ingenuity and emotional intelligence, you give space for innovation without alienating others or embarrassing yourself. And finally, when you couple your ingenuity with social influence, this is what helps you to bring the options and solutions that people actually want to support, and support it in ways that will move them to action. So I want to challenge you this week. I want you to identify one constraint that you're blaming for holding you back, blaming for creating problems, blaming for the lack of your success. And you're going to take that constraint and turn it into a creative discussion today, or at least as soon as possible. Thank you for listening to the Launch to Impact Leadership podcast. I hope this conversation moves you forward in some way. If it did, subscribe, share it, and join me inside the Supervisor Success Collective, my community for emerging leaders. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, my name is Dr. Keena Mosley. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep building momentum.